Your 20s often feel endless, open, and forgiving, as if time will always be available later and every important decision can safely be delayed. It becomes easy to confuse rest with avoidance, comfort with peace, and distraction with harmless entertainment. You tell yourself you are still young, still figuring things out, still waiting for the right moment to begin taking life seriously. But laziness in your 20s never shows its consequences immediately. It waits quietly in the background, allowing days to pass without resistance and months to disappear without urgency. Then one day, without warning, the cost arrives all at once. The truth most people avoid is that your 20s are not simply a period of youth. They are the foundation on which the rest of your life will stand. Every repeated choice of comfort over growth, distraction over focus, and excuses over action slowly shapes a future that becomes harder to change with time. This message is not meant to shame you, but to wake you gently while there is still space to choose differently, because once you truly see the hidden cost of laziness, you may finally decide that your future is worth protecting starting today. Cost 1. Lost time. Time in your 20s feels abundant, and that illusion makes it dangerously easy to waste without noticing the loss as it happens. Hours disappear into scrolling, postponing, sleeping too long, or avoiding responsibility, and none of it feels serious in the moment because tomorrow always seems available. Yet time is the only resource in life that never returns once it is gone. Money can be earned again, skills can be relearned, and opportunities can sometimes reappear, but a year quietly wasted in your 20s disappears permanently from your future. The true danger is not a single lazy day but the habit of delaying your real life until some imagined perfect moment arrives. When postponement becomes normal, progress becomes rare, and years begin to vanish without visible change. The shock comes later, when you suddenly realize you are older but not stronger, not wiser, and not meaningfully closer to the life you once imagined. Laziness does not steal loudly. It steals slowly and silently, allowing you to feel comfortable in the present while it quietly removes possibilities from your future until the loss can no longer be recovered. Cost 2. Weak self-trust. Every time you promise yourself that you will start tomorrow and then quietly fail to follow through, something small but important weakens inside you. The damage is not dramatic or visible to others, which is why it often goes unnoticed, yet it slowly erodes the most essential foundation of discipline: self-trust. When broken promises repeat often enough, your own words begin to feel unreliable, your goals start to feel distant, and your plans begin to seem temporary rather than real. Confidence cannot grow in a mind that no longer believes its own commitments. Self-trust is built through small daily honesty, through simple actions completed even when no one is watching, and laziness destroys that trust in the exact same quiet and repetitive way. Without self-trust, discipline feels impossible to maintain, motivation feels artificial, and even achievable goals begin to feel emotionally heavy. The real tragedy is not failing at a task but slowly becoming someone who no longer believes change is possible for themselves, because once belief disappears, effort usually disappears with it. Cost 3. Fewer opportunities later. Opportunities in life rarely appear suddenly or by accident. Most of them grow quietly from skills, discipline, relationships, and preparation built consistently over time. When effort is missing in your 20s, limitation quietly appears in your 30s, not as punishment but as consequence. Doors do not usually slam shut with noise or drama. Instead, they close silently through missed learning, ignored growth, avoided responsibility, and chances you felt unready to take. Laziness today slowly shapes a future where choices become narrower and risks feel heavier because the foundation beneath you was never strengthened. What once felt like freedom in youth can later feel like restriction in adulthood, when others move forward with confidence built from years of preparation while you struggle to begin. The painful realization is not that opportunity never existed, but that it required effort earlier than you were willing to give. By the time urgency finally appears, rebuilding takes far more energy than starting would have required, and the distance between where you are and where you hope to be suddenly feels much larger than expected. Cost 4. A life built on comfort, not strength. Comfort feels harmless in the moment because it removes pressure, difficulty, and uncertainty, allowing you to feel temporarily safe from failure or stress. Yet when comfort becomes a daily habit instead of an occasional rest, it quietly weakens your ability to handle real challenges. Avoiding difficulty for too long makes even small problems feel overwhelming, normal responsibility feel unfair, and ordinary stress feel unbearable. Strength is never created in comfort. It grows only through resistance, repetition, and moments that require effort when quitting would be easier. A life shaped mainly by comfort becomes fragile in a world that inevitably demands resilience. And life will demand it, through work, relationships, loss, pressure, and decisions that cannot be avoided forever. When those moments arrive, the absence of inner strength becomes painfully visible. Laziness does not just delay success, it prevents the emotional and mental growth required to survive difficulty with stability. The real cost is not temporary ease but long-term fragility, because the strength you refuse to build early is the strength you will desperately need later. Cost 5. Avoidable financial struggle. Financial stress in adulthood often begins quietly with habits formed during youth rather than sudden misfortune. Ignored learning, delayed skill development, careless spending, and avoidance of responsibility compound slowly over time, creating consequences that appear years later. Laziness does not simply postpone success, it increases the likelihood of future pressure that discipline could have prevented. Money itself is not the deepest issue, but the freedom and stability it represents. Without preparation in your 20s, adulthood can feel like constant survival instead of intentional living. Opportunities become limited by necessity, decisions become controlled by urgency, and dreams become postponed by bills that cannot wait. The painful part is knowing that a different path was once possible through small, consistent effort applied early. Financial struggle is rarely caused by a single mistake. It is usually the accumulated result of many avoided responsibilities that once seemed insignificant. When time passes, those small avoidances become heavy realities, proving that discipline in youth is not about wealth alone but about protecting future freedom. Cost 6. Comparison and regret. Watching others move forward while you remain still creates a quiet emotional weight that is difficult to describe yet impossible to ignore. It is not always jealousy, because deep inside you often know their progress was earned through effort you chose to delay. What grows instead is regret, a slow awareness of lost time and unrealized potential. Regret feels heavier than effort because effort at least carries hope, while regret carries only memory. As years pass, comparison becomes less about competition and more about reflection, forcing you to confront the distance between intention and action. Social media may intensify this feeling, but the true comparison happens privately within your own thoughts. You begin to imagine what life might look like if you had started earlier, tried harder, or stayed consistent when quitting felt easier. This mental weight does not disappear quickly, and unlike physical exhaustion, it cannot be solved with rest. The longer laziness continues, the deeper regret can grow, turning simple reflection into persistent emotional pain that quietly follows you through adulthood.